what kind of boyfriend I would like and what kind of and he's always in this kurta-pyjama with one tikka on him, and I'm always in these short clothes and strappy stuff, and he's always telling me, saying, "You think I want a wife like that, or I want a girlfriend like, look at the kind of clothes you wear." So this is the kind of film that that's it's a light-hearted comedy where one would just kind of leave all your problems behind, just come and sit.
हाँ तो आप बता रहे थे कि your relationship with Amar.
Yeah, my relation, like we in the whole film, me and Amar is always wearing these kurta pajamas with a tikka on his forehead, and I'm always wearing these short clothes, with tube tops and everything. And throughout the film, we're constantly fighting with each other. He's like, "This is not the kind of woman. You're always half dressed," and I'm like, "Excuse me, look at the kind of man you are. This is not the kind of man I want to get married to." So it's basically a very light-hearted comedy film where the audience, it's like you just leave all your worries behind, come and watch the film, and you'd most probably like it or you'd hate it or you'd find nothing in it. It's either you love the film or you'd find it you wouldn't like the film. So yeah, and normally those kind of films you don't really get to see these days. These days you'd see more of arty films, more of hardcore, other crossover films that you have these days. You don't really get to see those kind of films, which were made in the 70s and especially in the mid 70s. So Vawa Ramji is that kind of a film.
The character you play, आपका जो किरदार है, क्या आप उससे identify करती है? वो किस हद तक आपकी तरह है?
Absolutely. Vawa Ramji's character, like I've done Hum Ho Gaye Aapke, and then I'm doing Jal, and then Vawa Ramji. But Vawa Ramji is the character which I can identify the maximum because it's positively bratish. She's a hardcore bratish kid, but she's very positively bratish. There's no malice in her. She's not cunning. She's just a normal, funky, college-going kid, who's spoiled by her parents. The normal kind of kids that you see, they're always bullying everybody around them. So that's the kind of, and I definitely identify a lot with it, because in real life also, this word positively bratish is it's not phrased by me. It was phrased by a journalist who once said that to me. He said, "You are bratish." So I asked him, I said, in a negative or a positive manner? He said, "You're positively bratish." So yeah, I do identify a lot with that character.
तो ये साल आपके लिए वैसे काफ़ी important है क्योंकि there's वावा रामजी and जाल should also be out anytime now. जाल में लेकिन अभी release नहीं हो रही है, इसके बारे में आप हमें
जाल is just unfortunately Jal is being postponed by a month or two because first we were waiting for Hero, and then there's this ongoing distributor strike that is going on. Otherwise Jal should have hit the theatres by around 9th of May, but now it will come around 16th or whatever. But it should definitely hit the theatres in a month. So yeah, first Jal is coming, then there'll be Vawa Ramji followed in another 3-4 months, and then I've done there is An. I've done a guest appearance song in An, so the An should be out in August, and An is again a very it's a hard hitting film, so there's just very interesting number which is choreographed by Ganesh Acharya. So we've spent a lot of we've really given in a lot. It's like it's actually an item number, what do you say? So yeah, you should see a lot more of me in the next 6 months.
तो क्या are you open to item number?
No. This is like, it's not it's become a trend to have an item number in every film. So I really don't want to take names, but there have been films which have been released in recent times which have been offered item numbers because they are positive. They're normally looking at new girls now. I think the old lot of heroines, I'm sorry, the previous lot, they've all been exhausted in item numbers. So now they're looking at girls who come from the new lot of girls to do, and it's never like that. But this is definitely something different, not because I've done it, but because I've agreed to do it.
ठीक है, हम जाल के बारे में भी थोड़ा बात करेंगे. इसमें आप किस किस्म की कैरेक्टर प्ले करती है? इसमें आपकी कहाँ where do you fit in the story?
In Jal, it's I know normally people have that attitude that what are you doing in Jal, because you have a huge star cast. There's Tabu in the film, there's Sunny Deol in the film, and normally you don't have much to do in Sunny Deol films. But Jal is going to be a surprise packet, and trust me, I'm not the type who'll shoot my mouth off just for the heck of shooting it off. Jal is a film. Firstly, it's a love story. I mean, you've just had Hero, which was the love story again, but then after a long time, you have Hero and Jal, which is a love story. Jal is a love story with a thriller angle to it. Plus, there is of course, the terrorist angle to it, but it's essentially a triangle where I play there is just basic three characters of the film: Sunny, Tabu, and me. And I mean, you can just count the amount of characters that are there in the film, and the film revolves around these three characters. So I hope it's going to be I think it's going to be a good film, and of course, the rest depends on the audience. You just can't beat them. So.
मानिए हम 6 महीने के बाद बात कर रहे हैं तो आप हमें क्या बताने वाले हैं about the films that have released and about how you've made an appearance in Bollywood? What do you think you'd want to tell us then?
I think I would want to tell you the kind of not the kind of impact I have created in Bollywood, but the kind of films that I would sign up later on, because you know. I think your work should talk for yourself, and even in this last, Hum Ho Gaye Aapke released a year back, and there has been a gap of 1 year, which is not actually an abnormal amount of time, because I think all newcomers go through this 1 year gap, But the only reason why I've never signed up to many films is because either you sign up great films or you wait because you have that kind of confidence in yourself. I have that kind of confidence that Jal is a good film, and you just wait instead of signing up films where you have one song and one scene, like I keep saying, I'd hate to be a prop in a film.
आपकी पहली फिल्म का अनुभव कैसे रहा? How did you get that film, and are you satisfied with the way it turned out for you?
How did I get the film? Well, Ratanji was looking for a new girl, and someone had suggested my name to him. So I got a call from Venus, and I went and met him. And I remember I went and met Ratanji, and he just kept. Yeah.
तो आपकी पहली फिल्म की बात करते हैं.
Well, Venus, Hum Ho Gaye Aapke, Ratanji was looking for a new girl, and opposite Fardeen, and. I think someone had mentioned my name to him, so he was looking at a lot of girls at that point of time, and I got a call from Venus, and I remember I went and met Ratanji, and again, it happened both the times, whether it was Jal or Venus film, Hum Ho Gaye Aapke, or Vawa Ramji. Earlier, Vawa Ramji, not many people know this, but the girl was supposed to be this very Benji kind of a girl. She was supposed to be the one who was in pigtails and glasses. And when I went to meet Ramanji, he narrated the script to me. And one day suddenly he called me and he said, listen, I want to talk to you. So I said, okay. And my outfits had, started getting ready and everything. And he called me up and he said, I'm changing the script. So I said, what do you mean? He said, you're going to become the vibrant one now. You're going to be the one who's going to bust around in the film. And we are going to switch role. So it has always happened to me that, I have gone and met a filmmaker, and I basically talk a lot. So they've kept staring at me for 5-10 minutes, and they've said, okay. It happened, I'm not exaggerating, it happened during the time of Hum Ho Gaye Aapke, it happened during the time of Jal, and it happened during the time of Vawa Ramji, where the entire casting was shifted around, So So it has always happened like that with me. In fact, I remember when I went to Hum Ho Gaye Aapke, and when Ratanji said, he doesn't talk much, So he said, okay, come and collect your check tomorrow. So I looked at him and I said, you don't want a screen test? And he said, no. So I've always had that kind of thing. So it's been, like people keep asking me, do you ever want to get into films, or what are your plans? I always say that I never wanted to get into films, but now that it has happened, I really want to do well. I don't want, that's most probably, people often ask me why you haven't signed up so many films, Either people do it out of, insecurity. Sometimes, your first film doesn't do well, so you do it out of insecurity. Sometimes your films do well and you just say, I want to be choosy, whichever way you look at it, But I always felt that I never wanted to become an actress. And since I've become, I don't want to be, I don't want to stand in one frame at one corner. I really want to give it a lot. So therefore, if my first film hasn't done well, I just don't want to go and sign up everything that comes my way. Whether now you'd ask me, why did you do a song in Anand? But I know that sometimes one song is equivalent to 5 mediocre films, and I know that what that song is all about. So I know that when it hits the screen, it's going to be a blast. So I always believe in what I do, and I think that's the most important thing.
तो आपके फिल्म करियर में काफी कुछ अनप्लान था वैसे, तो
Yeah.
आप कहेंगे कि किस्मत ने एक
Definitely, luck plays the important. Luck is the most important factor in, especially when you want to get into films. You can have money. Money can come to you. Fame is not written in everybody's. हर किसी के इंसान पे किस्मत पे फेम नहीं लिखा होता है. तो for that it is only luck. Sometimes there are girls who are prettier than us, who are most probably more talented than us, much more deserving than us, but they're not there where we are. And similarly, most probably, we deserve to be in better places, but it takes time. So you just can't, you can't beat your luck. You can't race ahead of it. So there's a time for everything. One should not rush against time.
This is one of my last questions. I want to ask you कि आजकल बहुत सारे younger women are getting into films and things
Yeah.
like that. So how do you think you will like shine above the rest? How do you think you'll mark your own identity?
Younger women in terms of
Fresh faces. Lot of fresh faces.
But we are the new lot of. See, you can't mark one film old. You can't say, like, for instance, all the new girls that have come in now, we are still newcomers. We've not. Doing one film doesn't make you you're still rated among the new lot of girls, because there's so many girls that have come in now, and there's such fierce competition right now that today, if anybody is looking at the new lot of girls, the list of the girls that have had releases in the last 1 year, they always looked at. So films take time. You just can't say one film. For instance, girls have come in where they've had the biggest hits of the year, and they've had amazing hits, and yet somehow they've gone drifted away. They've become older quickly. And there are girls like, say, Karishma, who's survived for such a long time, and yet even today she looks so fresh. You can't just take it away from her. So, and yet there are girls who've come in at her time who've just gone looking something totally haywire today. So it's girls like us who've come in the last 1 year, we're still rated among the new lot of girls that have come in. It's not that bad. My favorite film is Mother India, and I love Gone with the Wind. I've seen that, and I love Mother India. Why? Because, and if you ask me what kind of a role I would play, that's the kind of role. There's a lot of sadness in the film. There's a lot of phases that you go through. She goes through, Nargis goes through in the film, and that kind of pathos, that kind of sadness which she shows. That's the kind of film that I would be. A lot of people say I'll do it once more.
Really?
Your favorite film?
Mother India.
No, my favorite film.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, good, done. Okay.
So we'll start with your favorite film.
My favorite film is Mother India.
Which film do you watch over and over, and why?
If I tell you, you'll start laughing, but it's Hera Fairy. I watch Hera Fairy over and over and over again. I've lost count of the times I've watched it, because it's the only film, it's one of those rare comedy films which I've seen which actually makes you laugh. And it just doesn't bore you.
Which film did you ever bunk college or school to see?
The film I bunked college to see, I don't remember.
कौन सी फिल्म देख के आपको रोना आता है बहुत?
Mother India.
Which film makes you cry?
The film that makes me cry over and over again is Masoom.
Why?
I have cried buckets on that. Jugal Hansraj, the way he has played the character, it's so touching. It just leaves some certain kind of pain in you, That's the film I've cried over and over again.
If you could play any one character in any film, which one would it be and why?
Nargis ji's role in Mother India.
If I could play.
If I could play one role, the role that I'd love to play is Nargis ji's role in Mother India. You know, there's so much of pain. There are these various phases that she goes through. There's so much that you know, she shows through her eyes. You know, there's just, she doesn't talk much in the film, but the way she expresses her grief, you know, especially the last sequence, it's amazing. That's the film that I would love to do.